So understanding of NG models, there's the same example. That's I try to give it to you detailed pictures of that one. So you see that these forms, the input form for the address registrations forms, and then you see that if you type it like I type in 1000, 2900, this one, so it automatically, this is the view, and automatically sync to the models, the U component models. So you can see that. But end of the day, we just pass this JSON string to the, when you click this button, this with event binding, we pass the attributes into the event and it's set to the database. But still, I didn't prepare this the REST APIs or services like for the registration, user role, and plot buildings. Those things not yet ready. So I already started to the Spring Boot application to implement those microservices, those REST APIs, and then when the REST API is getting ready, I just need to change that, like call the services and fill this record into the respective actions or REST APIs, and it works automatically. That's I did like my almost last 10 years my professional lives. I did it works that's automatically. But the idea was to give it to you how you can think about the really one very beginning level to the professional level, as like me, just 12 years in professional experience, how we did it start the developments, how we start the projects, and how we start our enterprise applications. And that's the idea, even though the plus the how the GUI and non-GUI application come up together. That's the idea to share with you. So two-way data binding, how it works, I just show the example like is have a forms like in input forms, and then I see you can pipe it like you can get the form values and JSON, just like to give it to your output like see in here, but and the final products that doesn't fit this one. So just I give it to you how we can read the input value from the input forms, and you bypass as like JSON. You can see the bypass the JSON, and even though you can pass the your JSON objects, your models, and pipe to the JSON object. So you can see the into the before sending the database, even though you can log this information if you need it. But from I think so we don't need it to pass to in JSON. But I try to explain you how it works. That's I mean when you fill the forms, how binding works, and then you can see it in a JSON format. But end of the day, this JSON is to be sent to the database, and then with respective save CRUD operations, save, update, delete, and then and those things. So you see the one of the event and the NG models and the event and the address ID and on change model event and title will be changed, and then you pass the event pipe event call for this title changes. So here is the one of the example that I will show you in the later when I start development. Is this our complete forms for the address registration? You see the all attribute here will be the list of address existing states. I didn't finish it yet, but I will continue that one. But for this screencast will be the how you can create the forms with the template driven forms and why, and the reactive form and why. That's the idea too. So this is one of the example for the address registration forms. You have address ID, reference ID, address reference ID, and type, and see the city, country, and postal code. And this is most important one. This is really most important one. So we have a drop down list. You can draw anything polygons. So I have draw a polygons, and this polygon coordinates is stored here. So that means in the database level, you store this coordinates points into the database. So this is the one of the complex and critical one, because a lot of the non-geo developer don't know how it works. But when I start the microservice development with the Hibernate spatials, I will show you detail how can you start, how can you store the objects like polygon objects or line string objects, or you can say a multi-polygon object, multi-string object. This is one of the really complex, because I did it like last 7 years to come up the real solution for an enterprise application. Just follow all the screencast, and then you can get the really clear idea how can you start your geo applications, or think about how can you integrate the geo functionalities with your non-web geo functionalities. So Then you can see the one example for the mockup for the user registration. You see the input marks here, so user registration ID and the username, first name, last name, and then username and the password. And you have say this 4 buttons. Here's a new button, edit button, delete button, and then you have a save button, reset button, and cancel button. But I will show you when the complete picture is done. Here is the CRUD operation for the plot registration. You have different combination of the input marks. You have the remarks as the text area, and you have some load the coordinates points. That means every building, every plots. Your plots means when you are living in the city area, you are living a house. The house has a, and this house is located in the plots, some bigger area. So one plot having multiple buildings, or and then that means so that means if I located the plot center area, then I know where is the plot located, even though in the address objects we store the complete geometry. Where this, if I think about, this is the one of the plots, you see the from here to here, here to here. So one, how many buildings it has? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, in total 16 buildings is there. So that means when we register the address, doesn't matter address for the person, address for the buildings, address for the plots or floors or unit, doesn't matter where it's located, then you register it, and then this is the linking between this is the address information. That means where this physically this person, the registered person, is located. That's I know where the exactly in geographically he is located, or she is located. And here is the plot registration. You see that we store we load the coordinate from the maps. So this part is still not implemented. I will show you when I implement it, but it's very easy. So just you go click it here, you load up the maps, and you click it one of the button and fill automatically the central coordinate points for the latitude and longitude from the maps, from the real location. But this is give it to you the address location. That means when you try to register your address, you add a plot, you need to register very fast the detailed information about the which city, country, and postal code, street name, house number, and then you complete geometry object into store here, and then there is a reference between this one, and then so we can cross check it. Is it exactly located this central coordinate point into the geometry objects? That's my that means I here. So if you have a central coordinate points here, then I have already stored the geometry in polygon geometry. Then I have a possibility to validate it. Yes, your plot is really properly centralized, and it's located inside this case. That means we can play with the validation case with the supporting data, with the address data. Here is the buildings plot, buildings registration. In the same thing happening. The building itself, there are information about some setback rules. If you are living in a city area, the plot buildings has some left, right, and top and front and back. There's open space. That means the setback rules. So this is the central coordinate. The same thing happen. You can load it from here the maps, and you can put it the central coordinate points for the buildings. Here is the one of the example for the plural registration. We have some I just did it some typing, but I can show you here later. And see, this is the central coordinate points. You load it here, and it fill it automatically, and the type of the use cases, and so on and so forth. That's the flow unit. And then the unit part we didn't finish yet. Here's the one of the example, and then for OpenLayer, vector features, concept, and concept and approach. This is most important. You need to be really close load. See that you have we have address object, we have a plot, buildings, floor, and unit. Every needs your coordinates points from the maps. So even though I have extra attribute, extra the buttons or extra links, you can draw from here. But I will show you. This implementation is already done. Already check it, it's tested it, it's checked it properly works. So you have selected in the respective geometry, and then you have automatically you can draw your geometry into the maps. And then when your draw is done, you can just bypass your coordinate point to the respective form. That's I explain here. This is one of the example, or the example for over here. So just you click it, click it, click it, click it, and then you just click it done.